How challenging will this Cowboys offense be to defend this weekend?
I think it's pretty challenging. If we do, what we're coached to do everything right, which is nobody's perfect, but when we do everything right, do our jobs, then we're all right.
What do you see from Dalton Schultz when you watch him on tape?
I think he does a lot of things well. He has a little bit of savvy, good route runner, physical enough. He does a lot of things at a good level. So he's pretty versatile. Just have to make sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
You guys had a strong second half in Houston. Can you carry that momentum over to another opponent, or is it just week to week different?
Yeah, I think momentum just all in the preparation at the end of the day. We know what we're capable of doing, so that when we see, the capability of the defense, it kind of it gives us momentum in a way, but at the end of the day, it's about how we prepare and doing what we're coached to do.
Did you like the Cowboys growing up?
No, I didn't.
Who'd you like?
I was a Falcons guy, just being from Georgia, hometown team.
Do you have to, with Pollard and Elliott, do you have to identify who's in the backfield? Because I assume that Pollard's obviously go faster than
Well, both of them do a lot of both receiving and rushing, so we definitely are aware of both, but they're very similar in the way that they do both at a pretty good level. They both can receive out the backfield and are threats in that way, so we definitely have to have awareness, but they're very similar.
And they obviously can attack in a bunch of different ways, but they went over 200 yards rushing last week. How important is it to sort of slow that element down? Because obviously with that comes the play action. And,
Right.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that opens up.
Yeah. So stopping the run is always, always a big key because it makes them one-dimensional, and if we can do that, it'll make things easier. So that's definitely a key, stopping the run and not letting them have 200 yards.
How much do you relish being up in the box there and having to take on some of those bigger bodies and help that process?
I don't mind it. It's not always the best, but if it helps the defense, and I think it does, I don't mind it at all.
Dante was calling himself the trash man yesterday for his work in the box, knocking the shit out of old linemen. Are you trash man too?
Nah, I think I'm gonna let him have that one.
Okay.
Get a new nickname, but I try.
How would you describe how physical the Cowboys are offensively, Kyle?
I couldn't. I'd say they're pretty physical. I can't really measure it. It's hard to say because I'm looking at it from a back end standpoint. But they're pretty physical. Their O-line's good, talented. Their tight ends, they're going to be blocking at the point of attack. They're good at the point of attack. So I think they're pretty physical. Yeah.
Being in such a veteran position group, do you find yourself still learning from Devin and Adrian on a daily basis?
100%, every day. I'm embracing that. I love doing that, and I'm very blessed in the fact that I can just I can't really go wrong in who I ask, whether it's the coaches or my teammates.
What kind of lessons are you picking up from them?
Just awareness, seeing things, when to use certain tools in the back end, and what to look for. How to watch film, everything just that overall experience of stuff that you don't necessarily see when you're just trying to make sure you're doing everything right schematically, but just the awareness of seeing things and when to use tools and things like that. So.
When you're going up against multiple running backs who can catch out of the backfield, like Zeke and Pollard can do, how much does that keep you, as a safety, just on your toes to be sort of constantly aware of where they are at all times?
I don't think it. I think it keeps the awareness about the same level. I think, to play well, you have to have the awareness on every play. So I don't think it changes. I think more than anything, it kind of just maybe slows you down a little bit as far as being aggressive towards, certain looks and just kind of going right to it. You kind of have to be more patient, for things like check down the screens. But other than that, I think the awareness has to be the same.
You mentioned film study and those guys helping you with that. Was that, I'm taking you back now a year, but was that like an eye-opener for you coming in here and having to watch film and then they do it a little differently, or did you have that sort of background coming in?
I watched a lot of film. I think the biggest thing that I learned was kind of just the difference between where I was coming from and how to watch film. And really, I mean, at the end of the day, you're studying the guys, you're studying, you know, who they are as a player, and you're studying defenses. But it kind of changes because the tips don't necessarily always look the same, and things change from week to week, especially depending on what kind of defense they're facing and who they're going against. So you kind of got to take that into play.
How many of those tips are something an individual player might reveal, you know, like the way he's standing or his body language versus, hey, when they're 3-by-1 and whatever down a distance is more of a tell, like a smaller tell, or is it like a bigger picture offense thing?
I think it's a smaller tell depending on where you are and the situation, of course. But usually it's one of those things that as you study, if you study enough, you'll see it. You can't really look for it because if you find yourself looking for it, you might force it. So you just kind of, got to see it, like, genuinely.
So you're just waiting for like an aha moment every Tuesday, Wednesday?
Right. It's like, okay, there it is.
Kyle, how much pride do you guys take in being a defense that plays a lot of man-to-man?
I think a lot of it just, at the end of the day, when you play man coverage, it's you and that guy you're playing against. So, it's the competition is a little different every play, and I think you have to have a lot of pride, and we definitely take a lot of pride in doing that, trying to do it at a high level.
Do you think, is one of the advantages being able to does it simplify things at all for you guys? Does it allow the defense to play a little bit faster if you have your assignment and you're just trying to stick to that guy?
In coverage situations, yes, because you're just playing your man, but at the same time the awareness, and you have to have your ears open and make sure you listen to the checks and things like that. So I think it does help you play a little faster, but at the end of the day, you still got to hear everything and see everything.
One more question? Or?
What's it like covering Hunter Henry in practice?
What's it like?
Yeah.
It's
I've never
really,
done that.
It's really good competition. I actually have grown a lot. I feel like being able to cover him every day and the way he runs his routes, the way he does things, it prepares me a lot for a guy that I see on Sunday. So I enjoy it.
For those good words, you better get your meal or something now. You said nice things about him.
He owes you a beer.